when last we left our intrepid adventurers, we had fought a bunch of doppelgangers pretending to be spellblades, and we managed to capture one. The one that Ben Gerard had got busy with, and who seemed to have sort of a slight interest in existing. Had been seduced by Ben Gerard's,
which is weird because they're very Mr. Meeseeks, those guys.
Yeah. Well, apparently Ben Gerard is such a man that he has managed to seduce a Meeseeks into liking existing.
Yeah.
So of course, Croesus is all like, interrogating him is a bad idea.
They'll either they won't talk to you. B, if they talk to you, it'll just be lies. And C, if they don't think they're lying, they're still saying things that aren't true. So you shouldn't listen to them no matter what.
Yeah, and he was probably right in the end, but we'll get to that. So we wake up the captured doppelganger. She's all tied up, and we try and do an interrogation. And basically we're trying to find out where their base of operations is.
Tell us, or we'll make you live forever.
Pretty much. And Ben Gerard tries to be all, seductive and charming and stuff like that. And the doppelganger is sort of like, I have learned of this human thing called love that, is compelling to me, and perhaps I should exist after all for its sake. But
I've always believed that though there are fleeting pleasures in life, ultimately life is pain, and so ending existence is preferable to existence.
Yeah.
But what I feel for you makes me think that maybe existence is worth existing for.
Yeah. However, Ben Gerard is a bounder and a cad.
Not just that, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she.
I'm
talking about she. She essentially, like, they want to get information out of her, and she's considering betraying her kind because of Ben Gerard. Yeah. But it all hinges on whether Ben Gerard is willing to accept her, because she needs to if she can really have a chance at a loving relationship with him, it might be worth
the pain of existing.
Yeah. So instead of just seducing her, he has to form a relationship.
And
a deep and abiding relationship.
Yeah.
That goes beyond physical appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she knows that he'll be repulsed if he sees her true form, and so she says, could you still love me if I looked like this? And she revealed her true form to him, which is this giant. Her face is a giant mouth, and she has all this hair, tentacles
everywhere,
streaming out,
like
and he's like, nope.
She's actually a special type of doppelganger. She's a mouth of the void, so she has this giant mouth, and
Ben Gerard is all.
So is it a head, or is it just like a mouth?
It's like the whole front of the head is just a ring of teeth that, like,
a tongue coming out, and there's hair that
comes out of the top of the lips.
Well, it's like the back of the head.
Everywhere.
So is that a hairdo or a mustache?
It's a hairdo. It's just, imagine a head, but the face is just a mouth. That's what it is.
And is it round or is it oblong like a mouth?
It's round with like teeth coming in around the edges.
Okay.
And she also reminds him when she turns back into Lady Edelmira, this isn't her form either. This is someone that she ate and took their form. And he asks him, hopefully, with tears, whether he could accept her like this.
Yeah.
And he tries. He says, well, I'm sure someone could love you. Basically. He did something better than that, but that was basically what it came down to. I'm sure someone could love you.
It was totally the shallow guy trying to say, and it's like, oh yes, I'm sure there's someone out there for you.
To be fair,
not me, but it's true.
Yeah.
Oh man. These are fantastic. These show these.
These are Leviathans from Supernatural. Same idea. They're doppelgangers, but they're giant mouth.
Yeah. I can probably show you the picture now that I think of it. Yeah. But he did say relationships are built on trust, and she said, "Well, I'm willing to start over. You know my true form. I won't eat anyone anymore." But I mean, to be fair, she was a horrifying monster.
Yeah.
And but there really was like. She was a mouth of the void. She speaks for the void, and so there was like kind of a chance to really subvert the doppelganger faction.
Yeah.
But Gerard just couldn't do it.
You couldn't take one for the team.
Yeah, well, it was, and I don't think it would have. It couldn't have worked to be fake, right? Like she wanted love.
Mm-hmm.
So he murdered her.
Well,
no.
it wasn't quite that easy.
No.
As it turns out, she could have escaped those ropes anytime she wanted to. And so once Ben Gerard rejected her, now she wanted to, and she wanted to kill us all.
Yeah, she started sobbing and turned, that moment of bitter anger where that's it, it's over.
Yeah.
And she decided that's it. I was right all along, right? Like I thought for a second that life had some sort of pleasure for me, but it turned out it was just pain in disguise, and it is preferable to end all existence.
Right.
And then she
Starting with
went
you.
to full berserk.
So she had a bad breakup, and her ex-boyfriend was right there, and so
He phased through the wall and got away.
no.
Like Homer Simpson slowly phasing backwards through the wall.
She turns into her final form, where if we'd actually fought her legit, once you take her to 0 hit points, she becomes her final form, and you fight her like that. So, big, huge monster with giant mouth and tentacles and evil necrotic darkness and blood.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Love me.
Yeah. Great French
Where did you
kisser,
find
though.
that?
I think I forget what I found it on
DeviantArt.
Google.
Yeah.
I searched for something.
Yeah. Just one of your usual searches, and that showed up.
Sexy Wednesday.
Anyway, so we had a fight, and she was pretty nasty. She was what, level 28 brute, you said? Yeah,
Solo.
and we're like solo brute 28. So yeah, that's way up there, and we're level 24. So
I only wanted love.
so yeah, she's got a huge pile of hit points, and she deals a lot of damage, and she's got a bunch of stuff. She does 2 attacks per round. She basically has 2. The moves of 2.
Yeah.
She's got an aura that does necrotic damage and pulls you in towards her if you're within 6 squares of her.
Her hair kept pulling you in. Comparing to say it was her hair, but it kept pulling you in towards her. Problem with stupid Croesus.
Yeah.
He can immediately interrupt and make you attack him, and then his stupid AC is 47, which required me to roll, even with a solo brute level 28, I still have to roll a 16 on the die to hit that.
And then when you do hit him,
Croesus.
there's a half chance he does no damage, and the other half you do half damage. It's ridiculous.
So
How are his other defenses?
they're not as high. His AC he's focused on AC, so they're like a normal AC for this level is like 38 or something.
Yeah.
Right, so it's basically 10 higher than normal.
So we'd spent some of our dailies already fighting the earlier batch of doppelgangers. So we were a little bit tapped out. Yeah, we weren't tapped out, but we weren't quite 100%. So we had to dredge into some of our lesser abilities. Cricket backed away from her real quick because of that aura, and she's a ranged fighter anyway. So she pulled back into the corner of the room. Serendipity pulled back into the other corner of the room, and everyone else just sort of jumped at her, I guess.
She just stayed there.
Yeah.
For her first round was basically wasted because she attacked Hank, and that forced her to attack Croesus, and then she missed because of that.
Yeah.
And she was able to grab Croesus, but she wasn't able to ever to do anything with him. On later turns, I learned she got 2 standard actions, so I learned just attack Hank. It'll force you to attack Croesus, then just attack Hank again because it's a
one-time use.
Yeah.
That means that Croesus can't block that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did start wearing down Hank pretty bad. Pounded on him real good. I'm trying to remember, there was some lightning stuff going on, wasn't there? There's a lightning ball that got deployed.
There was a lightning ball that permanently blinded her, and we were debating how you blinded her without eyes, but then I still allowed it anyway.
Yeah, I was rolling crits.
You draw them on the Sharpie, then cross them out.
Yeah, we rolled a bunch of crits. Other people rolled a bunch of crits. I didn't crit her for some reason. Even though I've kind of decided that I want to focus on critting. I didn't do so well this combat. So anyway, between all the crits we did, we permanently blinded her and we permanently weakened her. I think we had the opportunity to permanently deafen her as well at one point, but I think that we skipped
I think it was either or with blind.
Okay.
And Gerard shot thorns at her, which really that was like the last straw.
That cripples her defenses.
It actually gives her -6 on all defenses, but that was just like
Yeah.
I think she had held out a little bit of hope, like it's like she's slamming the door and walking away, but hoping that Gerard might run after her. But then he shot her with thorns, and
That was it.
Yeah. When your ex-boyfriend is
28
shooting
solo?
thorns at you, you know it's over.
28 solo.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So late in the combat, at one point, she managed to grab Hank. She
Finally.
grappled Hank because Croesus couldn't get in the way of everything.
And Hank has all these teleport away things too, so like he just took forever before I wore him down to the point where I could actually grab him.
And then she did this thing where she swallowed him.
She lifted him up and just shoved her mouth open wide and just shoved him down her gullet.
So I spent a cinematic point, and Cricket ran in going, "No!" And I used my braidmail armor of sacrifice. Being swallowed was a status effect that save could end.
Right.
So I took that effect off of Hank and put it on me. It was kind of weird.
Jumped in her mouth.
It probably wouldn't have worked if I hadn't done a cinematic point,
Yeah.
because it was a very weird kind of saving throw. You had to save twice.
There's all these penalties. It
yeah.
was designed to be super hard to get out of, but possible.
But it still made a lot of tactical sense to swap Cricket for Hank there, because Cricket had been hiding in the corner. She had full hit points. Hank was almost at 0. And while you're swallowed, you're taking ongoing damage. And presumably once you hit 0, you're like destroyed or something like that.
Yum, yum, yum.
So yeah, I had, I think, 6 rounds or 7 rounds worth of hit points. So I figured, yeah, even though I'm out of the fight now, that's fine. Because they're either going to win in 6 rounds or it's not happening at all. It's TPK.
Well, Hank does massive damage, so
Yeah, better to
she
have him.
bumped him out of the way, jumped down the beast's gullet, and Hank was still left standing next to her.
To pound on her. Other than that, I'm trying to remember if there were any other weird twists. No, I think we basically just pounded on her until she died. Now, one thing of interest, apparently she is significant to history. Because as we were fighting her and doing damage and permanently blinding her and permanently weakening her, every time we did one of those things, we had to draw Jenga blocks.
Yeah.
And so by the end, we were up to 12 Jenga blocks pulled in total.
Oh my.
And we're not regenerating those things very easily. So I'm getting pretty confident that at some point the Jenga tower is going to fall before our little fight with the end of all things is finished. And I really have no idea. We should possibly think of a way to manage its collapse so that it collapses when we're doing something inconsequential to our quest. But that's something we'll have to strategize about next time, I think.
When they finally killed her, which was mostly just by hammering on her, the whole combat she had been sobbing. And when they finally killed her, she said that, all her existence she'd longed for this moment, but now she didn't know if she wanted to stop existing. And then she melted out of existence.
Yep. We were not going to let Gerard forget about this for a long time.
Gerard felt sad about this whole thing. Of course, Croesus was just like, yep, job well done, boys.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I had on...
The void has one less mouth.
I had on this sad music, and Croesus was just totally ignoring it. It's like... Yeah,
and he was totally right. Should have just killed her from the start. I mean, I still think... I think if we'd managed to get some information out of her of any kind, it would actually have been useful information. But yeah, overall...
I mean, if Gerard could have gotten over his blatant racism.
Phobia.
Yeah.
Come on, man. More mouth to love there.
Right, yeah.
Anyway...
Has the tower ever fallen?
It has fallen. Twice, yes. Once when we tried to... Well, we didn't exactly rescue, but the guy that invented the sigils, we told him in the past about what they actually did. And he was all like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to go out into the world and do awesome things with this knowledge. And a dragon ate him because the tower collapsed. Another time it was an insta-collapse because we closed the box that Panadar was in while we were in the past, so Panadar wasn't protecting us anymore. And in that instance, Croesus immediately got taken over by Corblent, and he tried to kill us all. Apparently, Corblent is constantly trying to take over Oblin. Is it all Oblin at this point?
No, it's just Croesus, because he has the zombie disease, but he just got better. But Corblent is always trying to take him over, but he has no chance.
Yeah, he's got such a high will that it's,
But somehow he, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Critically failed 5 rolls in a row all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then...
Because the time tower fell and it made that happen. I guess the time tower kind of fell when we first went to the sigil and the earthquake happened. I guess that counts.
Kind of, I guess.
Yeah, we got the effect of a time tower falling, even though we didn't know at the time what was going on.
So it's really not that devastating.
It's basically is history reasserting itself, forcing itself to turn out the way that it went. That can be good, can be bad. So if it had fallen while we were fighting this void creature, since history wanted this void creature to survive, the fall of the time tower would probably have done something absolutely horrible to the party to stop us from killing it. That's the most logical thing. Other situations, I can imagine it not being bad for the party or even being good for the party, but, it's hard to say. We haven't experimented all that much with disrupting the time tower.
Yeah, because it didn't stop you. It didn't kill you guys when you guys helped that guy escape.
Right, it just killed him.
It just killed him.
Yeah. But it could have killed him by blowing up Allenway, and we were in Allenway.
Right.
So we're like, that would be bad.
So if someone goes back in time to stop the party from embarking on their quest, and you go back and if you purposely trigger a tower collapse, they would die.
Yeah. I can only imagine that, assuming that the time mages haven't found some way of circumventing the time tower entirely, which we've suspected occasionally they might. Anyway, yes, I can only assume that a lot of time mages have died trying to wipe us out. But, we don't see their failures.
That darn time tower.
I still have a theory that the reason they keep doing their thing where they snipe through a portal is that they're firing from the other side of a time portal so that they can avoid the time tower collapse or something like that. I don't know. I never had the opportunity to test that theory.
The spell to go back in time is very easy to learn, right? Is there a spell to send someone else back in time without Panadar protection?
Yeah, that would be handy. It's essentially, it's not exactly what we're... The end of all things seems to be Panadar protected inherently. It's just too powerful. It doesn't get wiped by time. Has it ever been sent backwards? It's been sent forwards. Oh, well, that may benefit us. Maybe that's why the apocalypse happened.
You caused it.
Because we sent the end of all things back there, and that was the only thing that was strong enough to kill it. So sure, we delayed it, but we also caused it. We'll see.
I think you guys actually researched why it happened at the time.
Well,
but if the time tower falls, history could rewrite itself.
We know we know the mechanism by which it happened, but it could be that it wouldn't have happened. Maybe the Ood would have realized, throw the circuit breakers or something is going awry, or something. But yes, by tossing the end of all things back there, we are making the time tower collapse on it. And the apocalypse is a pretty big collapse. Well, any which way.
So basically the fight was the end of it.
The fight was, it was another... So by the end of this, maybe it will turn out that we basically caused all the great catastrophes of history, and we're all the great villains of history. And...
I mean, it's typical for an adventuring party to cause all the great catastrophes, typically not of history.
Yes. Usually it's only going forward. So
you're not really responsible for Alan Way.
Yeah, I don't think we've done anything like knowing that, this is going to cause Alan Way to be destroyed. One time we did it inadvertently, but then we undid it. So next session, hopefully we can finally get that Timepoline built.
Assembling a Timepoline is probably the most time-consuming part of it. Especially pulling all the Timepoline springs into place.
Yeah.
Or couldn't you build it, then go back in time and give it to your previous self?
Interacting with our previous selves has caused us a lot of Jenga tower pulls already.
And then you use that tower up to kill someone.
No, if we can get this Timepoline built, that'll at least make our party not have been killed at the first level, which, the rest of our plan we can execute at our leisure then.
Yeah,
though not too much at our leisure. Not too much. Sorry, what?
Were you trying to fix with that?
The end of all things. The first Timepoline was set up by the Time Mages, and it sent the end of all things back to our first adventure, and where it killed us as a first level party. I really think we should have had the opportunity to play that out, because I think we could have taken it. But
I'd be fine with that.
But anyway, so that's our highest priority. is stop the end of all things from being sent to that point. And my initial suggestion of, well, let's just stop them from making a time plane was rejected because that would destroy Freeport. I don't see a big deal. Whatever. I guess they have some sort of attachment to Freeport because that's where all their stolen children are. So anyway, that's where things stand. And I will conclude this recording.
Well, I just hope that my mother never hears about this. She will be most unimpressed. She's always saying, Gerard, you need to find a nice girl, settle down. And I thought I had. I didn't. On the plus side, Serendipity just told me she was deeply hurt. She's totally jealous.
I have this sudden urge to go seek out and talk to Gerard's mother. I think that'd be fun.
Well, I think that's the second time I've been in Mithrendane now. This time it was a lot worse than the first time. But I think I'm learning a lot about things that don't exist. That's an interesting area of study. Wonder what the exam will be like.
You know what feels good? Doing your job. There's an abomination. There's a hole in the world. Looks like an elf to everyone else. You know what it looks like to me? A job that needs doing. And I done it. Feels good.
Wow. So Gerard is the love him and leave him type.
You know, people need to learn how to not judge a book by the cover. For example, take me. I'm a beautiful elf, and I look like a gross slobbering dog. And what do people see? A gross slobbering dog. Whereas this thing, she looks like a beautiful elf, but she's a gross slobbering monster. And what do people see? A beautiful elf. Just some food for thought.
So you're saying when you said you were deeply hurt, you only meant physically?
Cricket, can I get some heels?
Of course, ma'am.
Yeah, me too.
Of course, sir.